In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the radiator on your Honda Pilot. Let's get started. We're going to remove the clips for the under tray inside of the wheel well. And then do the same thing on the other side. On the bottom side of the cover, there will be two clips. One right here, second one right here. Remove those. We're going to remove the three clips on the front of the cover. Pull the cover down and remove it from the vehicle. Right up here, there's going to be a petcock drain for the radiator. We're going to open that up. Before opening this, make sure you have a collection bucket under you. And we're going to let this drain for a bit. Once our coolant has drained, we're going to close the petcock. We just want the coolant drained enough so we can take the upper hose off without leaking too much coolant. We're going to pinch these two clamps going to the trans. And we're going to slide them back on the hose. And then we're going to pull the rubber hose off of the metal line. Before you remove this line, be sure you have a collection bucket under you. This will leak fluid. If you have little caps or something that you can put onto these lines after you remove them to stop them from dripping. The new radiator will come with these little caps on their fittings, and you can just put them on here. Pinch the clamp on the lower radiator hose. Move that up, and we're going to pull the hose off of the radiator. There may be a little bit of coolant in this hose, so when you take it off, be ready to catch the coolant. There's going to be 13 clips in this top trim piece. Go ahead and remove them all. We're going to lift the trim piece up and remove it from the vehicle. Remove the clips for the grill. There will be two of them on each side. One right here, the other one right here. Once we do that, the grill can pull forward slightly. There's going to be 5 clips located in about that location on the bottom side of the grill. Reaching down inside of the grill, we're going to go after these clips using a pair of clip pliers. Go down the line and remove all the clips. With all the clips removed, remove the grill. Disconnect the fan connector. There's a push button on top, and then pull it apart. There's going to be one more connector right next to it. We're going to undo that as well. We're going to remove the plastic harness stay from the fan assembly, just like that. And then we'll remove the connector for the fan. There's a push button on the top, and then you can pull it off. I'm just going to pull this up and out of the way. Using a pair of needle nose pliers, we're going to pinch the clamp on the upper radiator hose and pull it down. And then pull our radiator hose off of the radiator. I'm going to tuck it up under the intake out of the way. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove all of the bolts out of the brackets. And remove the brackets. Remove the overflow hose out of the plastic bracket, and then we're going to pull it off of the radiator. And tuck this up over here. We're going to remove 10mm bolts for this power steering bracket. We're removing these so that we are able to push our condenser a little bit more forward. Remove the bolt, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Using a 10mm socket, remove the 3 hood latch bolts. Using a pair of needle nose pliers, we're going to reach down to this plastic pigtail, and we're going to pinch the sides, and we're going to push it through. And now we'll be able to pull this wire up, over, pull the hood latch back. Pull the radiator assembly forward, and we're going to pull it straight up. And as you do this, you're going to have to grab the trans lines and pull them up out of the way of this battery tray. And once you do that, you can pull it right out. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove the 4 bolts for the condenser fan and the 2 bolts on top of the radiator fan. You should have 2 more 10mm bolts right here. Ours are missing. And then remove the fans. Remove the 2 10mm bolts on the bottom of the radiator for the transmission line. Pinch and move back the clamps on both of the lines. Remove the lines from the radiator. Remove the rubber grommets from the bottom of the radiator. We're going to move our fan assembly over to the new radiator and get all of our bolts started. And snug them down. Install the fan assembly, drop it into these two tabs on the bottom, and then get the bolts started up top. Snug down the bolts. We're going to install the line onto the car. Get the bolts started. Snug the bolts down. Install the lines onto the radiator. And pull the clamps back into position. Install the grommets onto the bottom of the radiator. Now it's ready to go back into the car. We're going to install the radiator into the car. Slide it behind the condenser. You want to be very careful with the fins on the front of this radiator. Gently drop it into place. Wiggle it side to side and make sure those grommets are sitting in the two holes in the bottom. Once you know everything's connected, install the brackets onto the radiator and the condenser. The long bolts go into the top of the condenser. Snug down the bolts. We're going to install the hood latch. We're going to get the handle started on the left, and then we're going to reach down and grab the plug. We're going to put that through the window in the back. And it's going to drop down to the left. and pop out by the fan connector. While it's down here, we're going to install that plastic clip, just like that. Then we're going to get the 3 bolts started for the hood latch. When I put this hood latch back, I'm going to try and put it in the exact same spot that I had it before. Snug down the bolts. Install the plastic harness stay onto the fan. And then connect the connector for the fan. Push until you hear a click. If you don't hear a click, give it a pull and make sure it's connected. Connect the connector for the hood latch. Push until you hear a click. And connect the fan connector. Grab the coolant overflow hose. Run it under the radiator support. It'll drop into a plastic bracket on top of the radiator, and then install it onto the overflow. Install the upper radiator hose onto the radiator. Using a pair of pliers, we're going to pinch the clamp and move it back to its original position. If you put plugs onto these metal lines, go ahead and remove them now. And then we'll install the lines. The line that's coming off of the metal line set attached to the radiator is going to the outside fitting. Using a pair of pliers, we're going to slide the clips back into position. Install the lower radiator hose onto the radiator. Make sure it's fully seated. And using a pair of pliers, we're going to return the clamp. Install the under tray. We're going to hook it up inside of here first. We're going to tuck it under this inner fender liner. And install the clip in this top corner so everything's held in for me. Install the clip up into the frame rail. There's one on the bottom right here. Once you have all the clips installed on this side, go ahead and do the same thing on the other. Get the bolts started for the power steering cooler line. Do the same thing on the other side. With the bolts started, snug them down. Install the grill onto the car. With our grill in place, we're going to grab our clips, go inside, behind the grill, and onto the bottom. And there's going to be 5 spots for the clips. Install the 5 clips. Install the clips on either side of the top of the grill. Install the top cowl. And then go through and install the clips for the cowl. We don't have all the clips for this cowl. There should be 13 of them in total. If you lost an excessive amount of transmission fluid when removing the lines, it's a smart idea to refill it when you're done with this job. On the radiator, I have installed a coolant funnel. We're going to fill the radiator with coolant. Let this bubble and drink the rest of the coolant. Once the radiator is full of fluid, we're going to put a little bit more in here, and then we're going to go inside of the car and start it. This will start the bleeding procedure for the coolant, and we're going to run the car until we see no more bubbles coming out of here, and the coolant level may drop again. When the coolant is fully bled inside of the vehicle, you'll be able to have the heat on, and you will have no cold pockets. It will just always be hot. At that point, go ahead and remove your coolant funnel from the car. Install the radiator cap.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.